Last show was good. Hopefully,
Absolutely.
we have lots of people watching it. It's getting darker now. Time is changing. Things are changing. I'm changing.
Transitioning.
My slingshot is changing. And thank you again for everyone that's been watching. We have quite a few topics to talk about.
We do.
I think for the next show, we should probably talk about P. Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a hot topic.
Have you been paying attention to it, though?
A little bit.
P. Diddy? Did somebody say P. Diddy? Well, look what I happened to get at a fire sale.
Selling his stuff already?
Yeah. I got this at bargain basement prices.
Are you
Diddy collection.
Are you contributing to his legal defense?
Oh, yeah.
You love those legal things.
Oh, yeah. Haven't you heard?
Did you get any lube?
Louis, can you show my closet, please?
Well, everybody, we have apparently a lot of stories and a lot of lube. Welcome to Do It Like Danny. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. Well, it is. You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Obviously, it's always a wild-ass time here in the compound of Montecito. As you can see, we're always having such a good time laughing and carrying on and being completely stupid. Welcome to the Pink Pony Club. So, as you heard from before, Cousin Angelo got some P. Diddy
Merchandise.
Did you go to the fire sale and all you got was a fur jacket?
Oh, that poor woman, I stole it off her back.
Yeah, all I got was an STD.
And you're proud of it.
I kind of am. I mean, I got diddled by P. Diddy Diddler's diddler.
Well, you look good in white.
By
the way.
The old white parties, bro.
Yep.
I look like a marshmallow, for fuck's sake. Oh my God, am I slingshot?
Did you know he was the originator of the white parties? I mean, that's kind of how
Really?
the white... yep.
No.
Yes. That is how the white party... I'm not talking Palm Springs gay white parties.
Oh, for a moment I was like...
But, a lot of celebrities have white parties these days.
Interesting.
And now let's see if they continue.
Probably not. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to cause a lot of problems.
I think they would.
The connotation of what it means now might be different.
Right.
So they might change it up.
People need to get over it. A party's a party.
Well, Louis asked you when we were on break, in between commercials, if you had been invited to a white party.
I was invited.
Specifically
I was
Diddy's.
invited to a diddler party. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, to be honest, he asked me, and I had no idea. And so I have been exposed to P. Diddy since the Tyra days.
Oh.
And he did a couple of shows for us, and we had a whole thing. And, sometimes when not that I got a chance to meet him, but when you're around celebrities, sometimes there's a hint of you catch, right?
Catch the
whiff. You catch oh, they're a jerk, or ooh, he beats his wife, or oh, they're in the closet. There's different things that you catch. I didn't get that from P. Diddy. I got that he was huge ego, big dick energy, or I don't know if that's true or not. Sorry. Just a very big, wanted everything to be perfect, and he wanted to go all out. Yeah. They had him land in a helicopter on top of the studio.
Oh, I think
and
you
then
talked about
he
this.
walked down the ramp.
Yeah.
And then we had to fill that. Let me tell you, it was such an orchestrated effort from our executives. It was amazing.
Yeah,
and it looked amazing because he came in by helicopter, walked right into the studio, and sat down to an audience. Wow. And that's how the show started.
Yeah.
So, and then he also spawned the careers. Listen, I personally don't think that J-Lo would be where she is today if she hadn't diddled with Diddy. Because she was, known to have I don't know if they had relations. I don't know the extent of their relationship, or if maybe it was just a beard. Don't know, right?
Let's go down that list though. Usher, Justin Bieber, is it Meek Mill? I mean, the Drake, is it Drake? I mean, there's a lot of rappers that are associated with P. Diddy and coming up, and they've made millions.
Yeah.
And then there's the flip side to that, right? There's Jaguar Wright.
What's that? Who's
She's
Jaguar?
a woman. She's a performer who was on the wrong side of Diddy. So she's all over YouTube right now, and she's been telling her story for a very long time.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
About how she was a performer under his label or with his label, and she got royally screwed by him.
Yeah.
And she's been preaching for a while what he was all about.
Yeah.
And nobody would listen. And I don't know if it was because people were afraid to speak up,
Sounds like they were.
or
Always.
or because you could get hurt, or if you didn't want your career ruined.
Yeah.
But if you, so she's
Well,
an interesting.
all of the above. Not to interrupt you, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
You're so right on every single level. The things that people entertain when they are in the ranks coming up, they sell their soul.
Yeah.
And if they say that they didn't, or that I never had to do that, I hate to be a naysayer, but I think that they're lying.
So I was just going to ask you that. So you think that everybody who said that they didn't or has denied it is probably lying? Or at least a vast majority. So like if it's like 5 out of 10.
I mean, there's quite a few people. I mean, there's also audio going back of when you said Meek Mill. I think that's right. There's audio of Diddy supposedly
We don't know, but yeah, I mean, that's what
slamming
they're
into him. Yeah. So whether Diddy was bisexual but then there's also
Are
too.
we questioning that?
Well, look at how angry he was when he beat the shit out of, was it Cassie?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was his ex-wife, right? That's all I know.
Well, she's also not a one-hit wonder. I mean, she's had some good songs, but there's actual video footage.
Oh, yeah.
And he's beating the shit out of
in
her.
a hotel,
Yeah.
and that tape disappeared and mysteriously reappeared.
Oh, yeah.
So they think he bought off the hotel security.
Oh, of course.
To get that,
Of
and they
course.
claim it to be that he was just embarrassed by the incident.
I would be too if you saw that shit.
But it was really more criminal. It was interesting because I was watching before you guys got here. There was a man who was arrested at a Trump hotel in 2018. And in the interview, he's detailing how he was a sex slave for, I know you can't say, he was.
We got it.
He was hired to have relations with Cassie back in the day, and the FBI were not interested. That whole situation with the freak-offs was not even on anybody's radar, even though people had been talking about it in the past and had been, people that were angry and maybe trying to get back at Diddy. But it's really interesting. So people are going back and looking at these interviews with Diddy, and there's a new light on it. For example, there was another interview with him and Conan O'Brien where he was talking to Conan and he's telling him, hide all your pretty women. You don't want them at my parties. So how revealing is that?
Yeah.
There's another interview with Usher where he's on Howard Stern and he's talking about how Diddy had custody or guardianship over him at the age of 15
Yeah.
and was living at Diddy's.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I saw stuff I had no idea even existed.
Yep.
I mean, and if you look at the interview with Justin Bieber, he's probably all of 13, 14 years old. And Diddy is going around and he's showing him like a Lamborghini that he's going to give him when, he has his first, when he becomes of age or has his first hit.
Yeah.
And he goes, things are happening here that we can't talk about. And if you look at Justin Bieber's eye movement, it's pretty telling that, he was saying something that made him really uncomfortable. I mean, I'm kind of bitter because I was never invited to P. Diddy's daddy's.
The only sex party I was ever invited to when I lived in Vegas was Tommy Tune. At his home in Spanish Trails.
Oh, my God. And he talks about my age references.
I know, that's an old one, right?
Could we
Tommy
Google
Tune.
that? Because I don't
Tommy
even know
Tune?
who that is.
I know.
I'll look that up.
All 18 feet of
Everybody's
it.
coming with their walkers and
Yeah.
canes.
That was it. I didn't get diddled by diddler.
In all the time that you worked in television, did you know anybody who got invited to one of those parties?
to Diddy
A Diddy's
Diddler.
party.
I didn't even know. I had no. So there. No, actually, I'm trying to think. Like, is there anyone that I ever heard? Oh, they have like raunchy parties. No, no. I mean, Rip Torn. I mean, these are your era.
Jeez. That sounds like a bad night.
Yeah,
The Bullets,
I mean, you know,
Rip Torn.
Tommy Tune, Rip
Yeah.
Torn, all of them. They had wild, but those are gay.
Well, Rock
actual
Hudson
gay.
Rock Hudson was known for his parties.
Oh yeah,
I
in
know
Palm
we're really
Springs.
going back. But
Yeah,
if
we're
you
going
go
back.
You're going back.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
but
but
to
his-
be current in terms of, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
to be current, you know, no, I'm trying to think. And I had hung out with Benny Medina a couple of times.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Benny Medina is, Benny Medina at the time was Tyra's manager. He was Diddy's. He was Mariah Carey's, J Lo's, and so Benny Medina is the reason why the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air exists, because it's Benny's story. All of those things from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air were Benny Medina's stories.
And is he gay too?
Yes, he is gay, and
Okay.
he had or in the community, right? He had a production company by the name of Handprint Entertainment, which is no longer, it doesn't exist anymore. But you know, he was a force to be reckoned with also too. I had heard he had some parties, but I was never invited. I only hung out with him and did little things here and there.
Yeah.
And the only reason why is because one day he was next to me and everybody was like all freaked out about him. And I was like, I don't give a fuck who this person is. You can just sit over here. You can't be in the camera way. And he was like, I'm Benny Medina. And I was like, not a problem, Mr. Medina. Please sit over here, you know? And so I think from that interaction, I was never afraid of him.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody else was so afraid of him. We would go to meetings like, Benny said this is your Benny said. And you're like, oh my God, I'm in the same meeting. I would have told him to fuck off personally, but you know, I couldn't. I just didn't show any fear.
Yeah.
So I think because I didn't show any fear, I was harmless to him because like he enjoyed when people were like, you know, running around. Like, and he put his assistants through hell. But
yeah.
that's a whole nother,
But think about really like the people associated with Diddy. I mean, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and there's people coming out with stories. I mean, they're talking about Beyonce playing on both sides of the fence and her being a real big part of that. And this is all allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're even talking about how maybe Aaliyah's plane going down had something to do with
Really?
Diddy.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, there's. I mean,
No,
there's so.
did Aaliyah die on a plane? I thought she died on
plane
a
accident.
boat.
No, it
Oh,
was
no,
her
she didn't
plane
have plane,
crash,
that's
but they're
right.
talking about maybe somebody
Holy
put something on the
shit.
plane.
They're talking about the Kardashians are connected to this now. They're talking about Ashton Kutcher's connected to this. It's wild. It's going far.
So I saw that he was obviously no bail and that he was on suicide watch.
At the same jail that Epstein killed himself.
So
I think they just do that though because you know,
For a fact. For a fact.
so that when he does die, it's like, oh, he killed himself. I
Yeah.
mean, if he's in the same place as Epstein, I mean,
that's a notoriously bad prison. I mean, like no joke prison. And they were saying that the MS-13 gang pretty much rules that. But he's in protective custody.
Oh, he has
he's
to be,
not
yeah.
just
yeah, but are
walking
you
around.
really? Look at Epstein. How did
Oh,
he
yeah.
die?
I
How
would-
was he on suicide watch with no clothes, but managed to find laces or some sort, rip his thing? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was bad. It
Yeah,
was
you know,
bad.
That's a whole nother level
That's a
because you're
whole
talking
nother- yeah.
Prince Andrew and people in politics and so forth. But no, I mean, they're saying chances are Diddy will never see the light of day again.
Really?
Yeah, like he will never, like this is it. And I mean, his son was even accused as recent as 2022 of being on a yacht and being very inappropriate with staff. And how I don't know the entire story, so I don't want to be misleading in it. But, you know, there's allegations, and you have to wonder, his mom even, are you guys watching any of this? I'm just curious on YouTube.
I look at some of it, but I find it really hard that, because everybody's jumping on it and just saying whatever they can think of, right? It's like everybody now is their own investigator, and they're going back to like 20 fucking years ago, and it's like, they're just I mean, if you're looking for it, you'll find it and you'll make it up because it'll fit that narrative so that you get clicks and views. So for me, it's like I might see it, but I'm kind of like picking at it and
Well,
going,
of
is
course,
that real?
You want to gauge, who may be coming out just to be salacious and who may be telling the truth. But I think when you think about the amount of people that were out at these parties, people were not only participating, but witness to this.
Yeah.
And, there was a Wayans brothers, and I forget which one, that was on one of the talk
All of them.
shows. And he was talking about how after 1 a.m. you didn't stay at Diddy's parties. I mean, there's other people that are respectable.
They knew when to
walk
walk
to
away,
bow
Well, because
out.
he would drug everybody.
That's what they say.
and then he would pick and choose who they were gonna, diddle.
Yep.
And then I'm sure there's recordings.
That's what
Oh,
they
yeah.
say too.
There's recordings.
Yep.
There's
well, that was the
recordings.
whole raid on his place in Holmby Hills. There was something like 110 or 100 plus cameras in every single room.
So wild.
When you really think about
So
it,
wild.
the stuff that went on there.
Oh yeah, those walls
So
can talk.
somewhere, someone's burning, a database or a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah.
But like for me, like the reason why I kind of just like cut all of it off is because like there's a rumor going around that's why Ben and J-Lo are getting a divorce, because the FBI came to him and was like, hey, we got videos of this bitch doing this when she was dating
Oh,
homie.
I
And I'm
haven't
like,
heard that.
Is
That's
that
interesting.
real?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Some of it's a little too far fetched,
Yeah.
and then others I'm like, yeah, I could see that. I understand that.
Well, one other persons in that circle at the time talks about how he was at a hotel, I believe it was in Washington, and he went in. His cousin was like a bodyguard or something like that, but he busted in, and Kevin Hart and Diddy came out in nothing but a towel.
Huh.
So Kevin Hart is even being thrown into the mix. But again, how do we know this to be true and what
Yeah.
allegedly, But that circle's got to be pretty big.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the warning signs were there because Kevin Hart, excuse me, the warning signs have been there for a long time. So Diddy, what was the name of his production company? Was it
Bad boy?
no Amp? Like he had like something else, and he gave it to the employees. Like he knew something was coming down the pipeline.
Oh wow.
And then Kevin Hart just recently closed all of his vegetarian restaurants.
Yeah.
And then Usher just recently, deleted a bunch of text messages of tweets, right?
7,000.
And then said, "Oh my God, I got hacked."
Well, it came back because they're all back now.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, there's things that are out there that are happening.
Yeah.
If they stay deleted, I would agree. But then they came back, so I was like, because I went to go look and go, is this real? Sure enough, they were gone. Like 5 hours later, he's like, hey, my account got hacked. You all went crazy with it, and they all came back. So again, I don't know how true that is.
But
Yeah.
let's talk about where this kind of started from. Not so much the snowball, but who started really talking? Katt Williams.
Yeah.
Katt
yeah.
Williams said 2024 names and people are going to be out in the open, and stuff is going to go down.
Yeah.
Like really bad stuff is going to go down, and here we are. And Katt Williams claims that he was offered not once, not twice, but 3 times $50 million to play with Diddy and be involved with him sexually.
He also has a bit about that when you walk into a mansion party and you start seeing things that you did not expect to see at some of these parties, and you go, that guy's gay. What's going on?
Yeah. Mhm.
So, and
Yep.
at the time, I was one of my favorite specials, but looking back, you go, oh, there's some truth to that.
So I think that a good point, I did work in television for just a little bit. And that just goes to show you the hotbed of hypocrisy that television is. And the reason why I say that is because there's so many gay men that marry women because they don't want people to know. And it's well known that they're gay, but they... I'm sorry, I'm gonna scare me. It's well known that they're gay or same sex in the community, whatever, what have you, but they would never come out because of the negative ramifications that it would present to their career. John Travolta, it's no secret that he's been gay for a long time. Rumor mill, Tom Cruise, so
Will Smith.
Will
We
Smith,
talked
yeah.
about
Will
that.
Smith,
know.
That's
Will
another
Smith.
one that trips me out.
I think
So
that they play
much, yeah.
together potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then, the guy that Jada had a fling with, he ended up coming out as bisexual.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
that leads me to believe that maybe they shared, or you know what I mean? It's just
Oh my God, watch out for that slap.
right.
So it's okay to be gay so long as you don't come out.
Correct.
Basically.
So going back to like, people like myself who have come out, like it's true in television, there's not a lot of super gay people that are in high positions.
Yeah.
It is people that are in the closet that hold these higher positions, and you know that they're gay, but they don't present themselves at all as gay, or maybe they have female partners, and maybe that person's a lesbian, but it exists.
I think you have to be at the level of like an Elton John to be openly gay and nobody cares and nobody's going to ruin your career.
Well, on that same token, I think the reason why Elton John is, I want to say untouchable, is because of his talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he is beyond talented. Why would you go against Elton John, who has written for Disney and written musicals and movies, and his music has spanned decades.
So as long as you provide a service, you're actually okay. You're on the in.
You're okay. You're on the in. You can be as gay as you want to be, right? But technically, they still shun you.
Yeah.
They still shun you. It's still not accepted.
But let's kind of go back to not just the scandalous part about it, like the parties and stuff. We're talking running drugs and gangsters where people are getting shot. I mean, that whole, I don't know enough about the situation when J-Lo was at and when she was with P. Diddy and
the 01 club
they got
shooting.
Shot.
Yeah.
There was a shooting.
A shooting,
and the bodyguard took the fall. I think it was, or one of the friends.
But
they said he had the gun, but I think it was the other way around.
Yeah,
but he went to jail for that.
Yeah.
Notice how quickly those two parted. And when you think about it, because again, I've been watching a lot of stuff about P. Diddy and his background. People talk about how brilliant he was early on in his career. And, you can't get to this level just because you throw a fabulous party. You're getting to this level because you know how to work the system and you know how to... He was producing music and he was able to form companies and actually make something out of himself. It just went the wrong direction.
And he had a bunch of reality TV shows on... MTV. There was Making the Band.
Yeah.
There was also the one where they became assistants, and they had that was the first transsexual to be featured.
Oh, wow!
What is her name? Oh God, what is her name? Oh shit!
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, Elaine. No. She was that was the first transsexual.
Huh?
Oh fuck, the name escapes me. But
I'll have to Google that. I'll Google it.
Oh my God, fuck. What is her?
We'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll Google it.
Anyway, so, P. Diddy was the first person in his reality TV shows to feature a transsexual. And it's Lorraine? Oh my God, her name is escaping me. And that kills me because I've seen her so many times. And now she has a career in television. She does multiple things. But at the time, it was B. Diddy's assistant, right? And she was up in one of the final running of being his potential assistant. So he was very popular at creating and producing. I mean, he created some good songs also too. Yeah. I want to say he also had a little dip in Kanye, like no pun intended. But I feel like he also had a part in Kanye's.
I think that was Jay-Z, but I can't.
Oh, was okay.
Yeah.
It was Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. What can we say? What can we do?
Yeah.
Right.
But even Chris Brown's associated with that. I mean, it just that again.
When he
that
beat the
world
crap out of
has
Rihanna.
Yeah.
So from your take,
that's a tough world.
Outside looking in, because I look at you, we're kind of in it. How much do you think is true, and how much do you think is now just being embellished? Because people are running with everything, and I do mean everything.
Well, listen, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Epstein. I think that I would hate to put out false information. I mean, we're living right now in a society where that's pretty much all we live in. I mean, for the mere fact that a man broadcast to millions of people that people were eating cats and dogs.
and they're running with that too.
And what's crazy is not only they're running with that, but like at the end of the day, nobody thought in the back of their mind, we should probably do like a welfare check on them because this person's going to have nuclear codes.
Yeah.
Right? So we're living in an age right now where people don't research enough. I don't know. That's a hard one. I feel like there's truth to it, and we won't know until it's revealed.
If it's revealed.
Let's just get real. He wasn't that in the know. If he wa-
I'm calling Park right now.
now, who
dare
might
you.
be in the know is Park.
Wouldn't that be funny if she knew? She's like, I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah. So I mean, it's going to be really interesting the next few weeks. To say the least.
I'm buying stock in baby oil. Or is it too late?
It's lube, but sure, we can use that too.
It was a mixture, right?
It was 1,000 bottles of baby oil and 1,000 bottles of lube.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
insane.
who hasn't had a few bottles lying around?
I mean, I have a big bottle, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
I'll share another time, though. Really, I'll share another time. This house used to be a party house.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah. And that guest house used to be the playroom.
See,
Oh.
they do it different in Montecito.
I thought I smelled something.
Teen spirit. our chef's about to start our
Our
barbecue.
chef, yes, Angelo hired a chef this evening. He's Oprah's chef.
Yeah.
So we're very blessed to have Oprah's master chef here this evening.
And weatherman.
Yeah.
And weatherman, yes, he's also part-time meteorologist. So we're very lucky this evening.
But just kind of it sounds exciting, right, to be a part of that world, and who wouldn't want to be invited to a P. Diddy daddy freak off?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, really, I mean, when you look back, they're actually showing pictures of underage kids being at. This is where the problem is. It's not so much that, because let me backtrack. What they're saying is his defense could possibly be people participated in this willingly. You're an adult, you're at a party, you engage in drugs and sex, and that's your deal. But they're talking about the people that were drugged, that were underage, who were too afraid to say no to him. That's where the problem lies.
But people knew about it for years, so why are they barely taking care of it now?
because
why
there
is it a
were
problem
because I
today?
think people were afraid to speak out. is
The
what-
FBI and the CIA.
Oh no! I'm
or-
talking about people that had information they could share. But I mean,
they obviously have enough evidence against
Now,
him.
I mean, for them to raid his
have-
house, absolutely.
raid his house,
Yeah.
and then for him to take him into custody,
Yeah.
for him to have tried to begin to close his loose ends, if you will. I think we're about to find out a lot more of some freaky shit. I also heard that they had underage, but then here's the thing too. I mean, this isn't new.
Yeah.
Studio 54
You're right.
was infamous
Yep.
for gay sex, for straight sex, for underage. Drew Barrymore. There's photos of Drew Barrymore hanging out at Studio 54,
Drunk.
and she was like, what, 13?
13 or 14. Yeah.
14 years old. Who else was a part of that?
Yeah.
That
I
wasn't
want it to be.
famous. Right?
Oh, we know, Angela.
Actually, I know a guy that worked in production. He's a line producer. I don't want to call him out. I know he won't watch the show, but I worked with him at Ellen, and he was a shop boy.
A what?
Wow.
He goes, let me tell you, a shop boy. So he would walk around, and they would do
Oh.
shots and stuff, right? And he says, and he has a very deep, booming voice. He'd be like, Dan, you have no idea. It was the most amazing time in my life. He's like, sex everywhere.
But see,
Sex and drugs everywhere.
it seems like as you told me, the gays know how to have fun. They know how to party.
Well, apparently not P. Diddy.
Well, I think he took it too far.
Yeah. So, because there's a level. So, here's the thing, too. So, you always wonder. So, in the gay community, people are like, they're into feet or belly buttons or armpits. There's like different body parts, right? But then you get people that are into fecal matter and they're into
Aye.
urine. And it goes on and on and on and on. And I met some of these people and I asked them, I literally straight asked them, like, how did you get there? And it's like, how do you get? And you're like, oh, I'm turned on by fecal matter. Like, to me, that is disgusting.
Yeah.
But for some people, that's erotic to them. And, right, you're like, "Brrr," right? I mean, to each his own, right?
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
And I ask, well, how did you get there? I mean, you can't just be like masturbating one day and be like, oh, I want to see shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, they get to a point where it's such a high for them, and sex is a high, and they want more.
Yeah.
And there's maybe drugs are not involved, but for them, that's the drug. And then they want to see how far their limits can go.
Uh-huh.
Then will they test it with blood?
So-
Will they test it with,
You think for them, because they have money, it's like they're bored and I got to get the next high. So they just take it to such an extreme. Like, well, what if I get everybody fucked up and then we just start all fucking each other.
Well, it's a God complex too.
Ah.
Diddy clearly had a God complex
yeah, well,
because
yeah.
the stories that are coming out now is he hired, male prostitutes. And then think about it this way.
Who hires male
If I was a
prostitutes?
straight man, right? If I was a straight man, I would have hired women.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna watch,
right.
somebody, I'm not gonna hire male prostitutes to come and stoop the ladies that are there. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I only have to assume, right, that P. Diddy let them diddle them, and then they diddle P. Diddy, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Because you hire women. You go to a strip club, you want to see women. You don't want to see men strip other women.
Yeah.
That, to me, is that's gay.
Yeah.
That's gay, because even as a gay man, I watch straight porn, but I watch straight porn for the men.
Right.
Huh.
I don't watch straight porn for the women.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I do watch straight porn.
Interesting.
Shocking,
You
right?
heard it here
You
first.
heard it here.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You thought Diddy was
We're
a diddler? Yeah. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes there's like, oh shit,
But it's also for him to have some sort of advantage over people as well.
That's what they're
if
saying,
you've got
yeah.
somebody on tape like a Jay-Z having sex with another man, then that's really a power play. It's more so than anything else.
and also too, think of the level of trust that these people put into him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to earn that trust, that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It goes deeper.
Well, it's money, drugs. There's a lot control. There's a lot happening there.
I mean, you kind of mentioned that when he walked in, he had big dick energy. He was very controlling just by the few moments that you were exposed to him. So I mean, that makes sense.
And I think when you get to that level, you become almost somewhat untouchable in your mind.
In
you
your mind,
think.
yeah, for
But
sure.
when it comes down to it, you're not.
Yeah.
You're
Sorry,
really
there's
not.
like mosquitoes playing on it. In terms of untouchable, I think that happens to a lot of celebrities, and it happens to a lot of producers. I mean, listen, I'm guilty of that too. At one point, I thought I was untouchable.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, I'm bringing all this to the table. They could never get rid of me. And then one day you realize they want you out, right? And the same is to be said for Diddy, because up until this point, it was working.
Yeah.
So who did he piss off?
I was just going to say that. So, yeah, where down the line did something get fucked up? And it must have been at a business dealing or a party or something happened.
He got too big for his
Yep.
britches, and someone said, I'm going to show you how big they can be.
Uh-huh.
And started doing their own research and started releasing stuff, finding people, paying people off, and here we are.
A lot of this sparks too from not only Katt Williams, but from Cassie.
Oh, yeah.
After that, I mean, that opened up a whole can of worms. And just to switch gears real quickly about people talking about how
Parker?
about people being inflated. We're watching the Ryan Murphy Menendez brothers story on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. How is it?
Well, it's very salacious. So if you like shower scenes, and it's, I mean, prison shower scenes,
But
that might be right up
We
your
should
alley.
probably interject, though. How dare you? But thank you. I love information. But we should also precursor that. But it's by Ryan Murphy, and Ryan Murphy is very well known in the community for doing gay things.
Oh, okay.
So there's such a homoerotic undertone to the entire series so far that it lends to what they're portraying. And what I was telling Austin the other day, I thought, my God, in the 70s, it was women's cleavage. And if you got a booby shot, then everybody was happy. That's gone. It's all about male anatomy and full frontal.
Full frontal,
And
yeah.
I'll leave it at
Wait,
that.
is there full frontal in there?
And
There's been a lot more full frontal on a lot of different shows.
Well, yeah, like Euphoria and all that. Well, because I think also, too, although we think it's taboo, right? It's also, technically, we're supposed to be moving forward. We're all equal. If we can show pussy and tits, why can't we show
dick and ass.
dick and ass or a bush and dick?
So my point with that was that Lyle and Eric, the way it's portrayed, really felt like they were untouchable. You get to a certain level, they felt like their father was this extremely well-known person in the industry, right? So they really thought they were untouchable. It's actually kind of an interesting take on it. I know we sidetracked with it, but it just lends to Hollywood, right? I mean, you get to a certain level. You're right. You get to a certain level and you think you can do anything. You're invincible.
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen their other one season series called Hollywood. And it's about a guy coming, right? And what happens? He turns into a gay male prostitute, but yet he's straight. And he's making money and he's getting roles and he's moving up the ladder, if you will. And unfortunately, and it's really sad, but that's kind of nice how the way that it happens.
That people will just sell their soul and become something they're completely not, just to be in it. That is so fucking weird.
They also just, they're actors and they're actresses. They just go into a character.
I would sleep my way to the top if I wasn't too afraid I'd fall asleep.
Well, we're wondering how you're awake right now. It's past your bedtime.
I know. It's past all of our bedtimes. Well, listen, it's past a lot of our bedtimes. I'm tired. We had a wonderful 2 days of shows. This was very deep. This was a deep show. It's a very deep show. And then, of course, now we have
the chef. We're about to eat
chef.
right now.
So we're hungry. We're about to eat. I hope you eat. Har, har, har. And I hope you don't go to any diddler parties. I want you all to be safe. Remember to always like, follow, subscribe, and love yourself, for fuck's sakes. And with that being said, we will see you next week so you can do it like Danny. Have a good one.